Thank you, Dr. Stenger. I would like to ask a question. Would you guys like a break and then come back for a question, or would you prefer just to go straight into the questioning?
Straight through.
Okay, so is that okay with you, sir? Great. I'll get you a stool. Kelly, if you and David would help me with the microphones to whoever has a question. And whoever has a question, if you would raise your hand, we'll bring the microphone to you. And here we go. I think this young man right here has one.
Thanks for coming out. So if we live in a universe where we have the laws of physics and we have causation and all those basic items, then it doesn't look like there's any room for free will. I mean, the brain is just chemical and physics and no magic other part. So would you say there's no free will?
Well, you might say I'm forced to. No, actually, I have my own theory of free will. Most scientists would say yes, there's no free will. But I have my own angle on it, and that is that I do believe that your brain is working away, calculating various algorithms on deciding how you're going to act in different situations. In particular, most of the actions that you make are done by an unconscious, and only later do you get the idea that you made a decision yourself. But it's still being made by you. It's still within your brain, and it's based not only on algorithms that have been developed from your experience. They're not all built in there at birth, and it's also based on the data that you have from your own experience. So if you make a decision, that decision is yours. It's not anybody else's. Even an exact twin of yours would have different life experiences, and so would not make the same decision. So it's certainly some kind of free will. I don't know how freer you can get than that. So.
Thanks for speaking. Would you say that the question of origin is a possible question? In other words, if the universe is eternal, or if the universe was created by a computer, what created that computer? Is that a pertinent question? Would that not be a scientific question? In other words, everything else tends to come from something else. Is it a question better suited for science or for philosophy?
Well, I don't care what labels you put on something. But first of all, if the universe is eternal, that means it didn't have a beginning.
Right.
So you don't have to ask the question, where did it come from? It didn't come from anything. It always was.
Is that demonstrated anywhere else?
No, but it's consistent with all existing knowledge. All you can do in science is make observations and then draw up theories that are consistent. I take a different view of this. I say that I don't have the burden of proof on that score. If you're trying to tell me there's only one universe and that universe was created, you're making a more spectacular claim because you're making a claim that's not based on existing knowledge. So you have the burden of proof. Look, science has to be always open. If something shows up that provides the data that requires you to include some kind of non-natural element to their universe, and it's the result of many experiments, well-done experiments, independently confirmed, statistically significant, and so on. If that happens, then scientists are going to go along with it. In fact, they would be perfectly happy to go along with it because it means all kinds of more money for research.
Hello, I guess I have two questions. One would be, in a world that's not mechanical as much as probabilistic, that we get into like quantum physics, is it possible to at least imagine that there are a divine character or a divine character is at play massaging those numbers that make the probability?
Could you take the mic a little further away so that you don't and talk a little slower? Thanks.
I'm sorry. In a world that's not mechanical...
Closer. That's good.
This? Good? Alright. In a world that's not mechanical, but rather probabilistic, isn't it possible to imagine a divine character or divine characters, massaging those numbers that go into the probability. And my second question was sort of a fault the free will question. Sartre said that causal explanation only works backwards, so therefore free will is possible, imagining kind of going forwards, and he was an atheist as well.
The first question had to do with if the universe was mechanical. If the universe was mechanical, can a divine will massage the numbers that explain the universe? That was the first question.
Well, you could always posit divine will behind everything. It's just no evidence for any need for it. You see, right now, maybe someday there will be, but right now we have no need to introduce anything beyond natural forces. So, and the second was.
I didn't hear the second one. Sartre was an atheist who said that causal explanations only go backwards, therefore allowing for free will in the future because the future is still unwritten.
So he said that there's a possibility for free will in the future, even if we're determined by physics today. So we can merge to free will.
Well, I don't. Einstein always said, prediction is very difficult, especially in the future. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I know you're talking about emergence. Emergence is a common phenomenon people talk about now, and there is the idea that is part of this whole complexity issue. That as systems become more complex, they begin to develop new qualities that the matter itself, the particles that made up the system, do not possess. That happens. The only question is there anything new happening that's not just a part of just a situation where the particles that make up the system are just interacting with one another in a complex way? Is there any other kind of source of knowledge besides a source of information, any other forces coming in at some level, maybe acting from the top down rather than the bottom up? And right now, again, you have to say there's no sign of that. People propose it. Lots of books out there on the subject, but no one has made a convincing case for it as far as I'm concerned because they don't have any evidence.
I was wondering what leads to your belief or faith in the multiple universes theory, or the supercomputer, or even your belief in the Big Bang, when it's not a repeatable, studyable something that you can experiment on.
Well, first of all, I think the Big Bang is well established. Everything is not an experiment. In astronomy, we know a lot that we haven't gotten by experiment, because you don't do experiments very often in astronomy. Maybe you do some little things in the lab once in a while, but for the most part, you're just making observations, and all you can do is then develop models and theories to try to describe those observations. And the beauty of the Big Bang now is that it's not just one theory. It's a whole group of theories that explain the whole wide range of phenomena. And while there's still people out there who try to argue that the Big Bang didn't happen because they have their own little pet theory that explains one thing, that doesn't explain everything. There's no theory out there other than the Big Bang that covers the whole range of data that's been observed. And in the last 10 years, cosmology has become a wonderfully precise observational science with the satellite experiments, the black body radiation in particular, but also many other experiments, and very completely independent observations all fall together with the Big Bang theory. So that's the first thing. Now, as far as the multi-universes, there are some ways in which another universe could be detected. The way you might detect it is by seeing an anisotropy in the cosmic microwave background. If it was another universe, gravity might produce an anisotropy. Now, some people even claim they've seen it, but I'll hold off on that and make that claim right now. But at least it's in principle possible. So we're talking about things that are observable, that do have observable consequences.